Hello. In this week's portion, Naso, we learn that if a husband suspects his wife of adultery but has no proof, he can ask her to submit to an ordeal to determine if she is guilty or not. Quote, God spoke to Moses saying, "Speak to the Israelite people and say to them, if a man has had carnal relations with a married woman without her husband knowing it, and she keeps secret the fact that she has defiled herself without being forced, and there is no witness against her, and the fit of jealousy comes over her husband, even though she has not defiled herself, the man shall bring his wife to the priest. The priest shall take holy water in an earthen vessel and put in the water some of the earth that is on the floor of the tabernacle. He shall say to the woman, if you have not gone astray, be immune to harm from this water of bitterness that induces the spell. But if you have gone astray, may God make you a curse among your people and cause your thigh to sag and your belly to distend. And the woman shall say, Amen, Amen. The priest shall put these curses down in writing and rub it off into the water of bitterness. Then the priest shall make the woman drink the water. If she has defiled herself, her belly shall distend and her thigh shall sag, and she shall become a curse among her people. But if she has not defiled herself and is pure, she shall be cleared and be able to conceive seed. End of quote. This ritual also involves an offering of oil and barley. Because of that, it could only be done in the temple, and the temple was destroyed by the Romans 2,000 years ago. So it cannot be done today. The woman is called a Sotah, meaning a woman who has gone astray, la traviata, as it were. And an entire tractate of the Talmud deals with this subject. This was not a matter for the courts because there was no evidence. The Mishnah says that the woman was first brought before the Sanhedrin to persuade her to confess. Quote, the judges would threaten her to get her to admit her sin. They would say, my daughter, we understand that wine causes a great deal of immoral behavior. So does levity. So does immaturity. So do bad neighbors. There may well have been mitigating factors in your behavior. Confess for the sake of God's great name, so that it shall not be erased in the water. End of quote. This may sound unfair, but there are two good reasons for it. First, to save her life, as the ordeal may kill her. And second, not to have to erase God's name. Indeed, if she confessed, the ordeal was not required. The husband would then divorce her, she would forfeit her ketubah compensation, and that would be the end of the matter. Her confession by itself would not be enough to charge her with adultery, because there were no witnesses. If she is guilty, the Torah says that God will cause her belly to distend and her thigh to sag. Some believe this to be a euphemism for the uterus becoming damaged, causing infertility. The Torah does not say she dies, but may imply it. The Mishnah understands that she does die, but not necessarily immediately, because her personal merit may postpone her death for up to 3 years. It adds, however, that her lover will suffer the same fate by the hand of God. Maimonides summarizes, when she dies, the adulterer by whose action she was compelled to drink will also die, wherever he is located. The same phenomena, the swelling of the belly and the rupture of the thigh, will also occur to him. The Talmud points out that if she is guilty, she is punished measure for measure. Quote, she extended her thigh for her lover, therefore her thigh falls away. She received her lover upon her stomach, therefore her stomach swells. She fed him delicacies of the world, therefore her ritual offering is barley, which is animal food. She gave him fine wine to drink in fine cups, therefore a priest gives her bitter water to drink in a simple clay vessel. End of quote. The Midrash reports this story. Quote, there is a story about two sisters who looked alike. One was married in one city, and the other was married in another city. The husband of one of them accused her of infidelity and wanted to have her drink the bitter water in Jerusalem. They went to that city where her married sister lived. She said to her, "My husband wants me to drink the bitter water." Her sister said to her, "I will go in your place and drink it." She said to her, "Go." So she put on her sister's clothes, went in her place, drank the bitter water, and was found clean. When she returned to her sister's house, she joyfully went out to meet her, then embraced and kissed her. As soon as they kissed, the sister smelled the bitter water and immediately died. End of quote. The curse must be written on parchment from a kosher animal, like that used on a Torah scroll. The Jerusalem Talmud explains why. Quote, Rabbi Elazar ben Shamua said, "One does not write the curse on the skin of an unclean animal." Rabbi Simon said, "But since you said it's written to be erased, why not?" His son Rabbi Elazar ben Simeon said, "I prefer the word of Elazar ben Shamua over my father's words. Maybe the woman will say, 'I will not drink.' Then the name of God would be hidden on the skin of an unclean animal to be preserved indefinitely in a geniza." The holy water is taken from the kiyor, the wash basin in the temple courtyard. Objectively, it is not clear that without divine intervention, the potion that she drinks is so poisonous that it would cause her to suffer terrible diseases or die. It's just water containing some dust, dissolved paper, ink, and maybe a bitter herb. So the procedure may be just a way to calm the husband. All that matters is for the husband to believe in the efficacy of the ordeal. The true aim is not to punish the wife if she's guilty, but to clear her if she is innocent, and thereby preserve her marriage. If she is guilty, God does not need the ritual to punish her. There are also separate benefits to the wife, as the Talmud says. Quote, Rabbi Akiva says, "The Torah says, 'And she shall be cleared and shall conceive seeds.' This means that if she was barren, she will conceive a child." Rabbi Ishmael said to him, "If so, all the barren women will seclude themselves with other men, and they will conceive after drinking the bitter water and being found innocent. And if they do not, they lose the opportunity to receive this blessing." So, what is the meaning of this verse? That if in the past she would give birth in pain, from then on she will give birth with ease. If she gave birth to females, she will not give birth to males. If her children were short, she will not give birth to tall children. Maimonides accepts both interpretations. Quote, when a Sotah who was innocent drinks the bitter water, she becomes stronger and her face glows. If she was afflicted by a sickness that prevented her from conceiving, it will disappear and she will conceive and give birth to a male. If she previously had difficulty giving birth, she will give birth speedily. If she would give birth to girls, she will give birth to males. Note that Maimonides deftly says that if she was infertile due to a sickness, she will conceive, skirting Rabbi Ishmael's argument. If her infertility is not caused by a sickness, but say by a birth defect, she will still remain infertile after she forces the ordeal by secluding herself with a man. The ordeal was intended to bring peace in the house. Shalom Bayit. The husband has no proof or witnesses. He just suspects infidelity. The Talmud says that peace in the house is so important that God allows his name to be erased for its sake, when the paper containing the curse and God's name dissolves in the water. Quote, the master said, "Great is peace between a man and his wife, given that the Torah said that the name of the Holy One, blessed be he, written in sanctity, shall be erased in the waters of the Sotah ritual." End of quote. Contemporary Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky writes that if a man suspects his wife, quote, the doubt will never leave him unless God himself, so to speak, assures him that she is actually pure. And he adds, if the Talmud says that God values peace so much that his name can be erased for its sake, what kind of peace are we talking about if the woman dies after she drinks? He concludes, therefore, the expectation is that she will be cleared. The Talmud warns that the husband is not off the hook in this matter. The ordeal will not work if he himself is guilty of sexual immorality. Maimonides summarizes, I quote, all the above it applies provided her husband never engaged in forbidden sexual relationships in his life. If, however, her husband ever engaged in forbidden relations, the bitter waters will not check the fidelity of his wife. As a result, the Mishnah says that the procedure was discontinued in the 1st century shortly before the temple was destroyed, on the grounds that the husbands were usually not paragons of fidelity. Quote, from the time when adulterers proliferated, the ritual of the bitter water was nullified, and it was Rabbi Yohanan ben Zakkai who nullified it, as it is stated in Hosea, I will punish neither your daughters when they commit harlotry, nor your daughters-in-law when they commit adultery. This means that when the husbands are adulterers, the wives are not punished for their own adultery. A warning appears in the Talmuds. Since we can no longer perform the ritual because there is no temple and the procedure itself is on hold, a man should be very careful what he tells his wife. Quote, Rabbi Hanina of Sura said, nowadays a man should not say to his wife, do not seclude yourself with so-and-so, because if she were then to seclude herself with that man, she would be required to drink the bitter water, and since it's unavailable today, he will end up forbidding her to himself forever. Trial by ordeal was practiced in many ancient societies, and many not so ancient. By fire, by water, by combats, by poison, etc. Even today, in some cultures, wives are murdered by their husbands on the mere suspicion of adultery. At least the Jewish ritual formalized the process and was expected to exonerate the suspected wife and reassure the jealous husbands. Nevertheless, it was probably another one of the concessions God had to make for the people to accept the Torah, trusting that in time the people will not want to do it anymore. Shabbat Shalom.